It is time to take another standard American diet classic sandwich and make it into carnivore. Welcome to the channel. A couple months ago, I did a carnivore version of the Wendy's Baconator and it turned out very good. I know some of you all out there enjoyed it. I don't know if any of y'all made it, but y'all were looking forward to making it and thought it was delicious. So it gave me another idea to do another standard American diet classic sandwich. This one here is my most favorite sandwich of all. This was my comfort go-to sandwich. I ate this many years before keto and carnivore. I used to go, when I was younger, I used to go to tavern there in my small town in Higbee, Missouri. And that's what I ordered, breaded pork tenderloin and fries. But over time, that stuff, when we're on carnivore, it is bad. It is probably fried in seed oils. The breading is nothing but grains, flour, whatever it is, probably got chemicals in it. The seasonings, whatever it is, wasn't very good because it's not good for our bodies. So that gave me the idea that I miss this sandwich so much that I am going to be making one. And so let's get started with the ingredients. Of course, I have 2 pork tenderloin pieces. I got them butterflied that I will be taking the meat tenderizer and pounding them out to make more of a bigger sandwich. We got the eggs here for the egg wash, so when you put the egg in, dip it in egg so the pork panko will stick. Of course, I got the carnivore bun. I did make these up ahead of time. I used the Courtney Luna's dairy-free with a minimal amount of dairy. I use butter, but all you're doing is you're taking the 2 cups of cottage cheese and you're replacing it with 2 cups of pork panko. So you could use any bun in this recipe or any recipe carnivore, whatever you like the best. There's several out there, or if you have one that you created yourself. But I like the Courtney Luna's the best. It stays firm and it doesn't collapse. It's not flat or anything like or deflate. So that's why I use it. And then of course, I got the sea salt here. And you can use any kind of salt, as long as it's not table salt or iodized table salt. That stuff is no good. Use a good quality salt like a mountain sea salt or a Himalayan pink salt. I'm using Redmond's here to season the pork tenderloin. And then the pork panko, I will be using that. That is the replacement of the flour or the breadcrumbs that you normally do when you do breaded tenderloins. And it does come out really good. This one is optional. You don't have to do it. You could just do the panko. But what I like about this is I usually use this to mix with the pork panko to kind of give it more of a glue. That way it sticks together better. Normally I use egg white powder, but unfortunately egg white powder can be a little bit pricey. So I get this heavy whipping cream powder. I will link the description where I got it down below in the description box. And so let's get started. All right, let's get the tenderloins. Let's get them tenderized. Let's get them making a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Meat Tenderizer 2000, or aka the meat cleaver, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tenderize the tenderloin, and I'm going to pound them out to make them nice little size sandwich, you know, where it makes a nice size piece of meat for the sandwich. You want to do both sides of them. There you go. Let me get the salt. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to season both sides of this tenderloin with salt. All right, got one. Let's go ahead and get the other one. Get this other side salted. All right. Both sides are salted. Let's go ahead and get everything else mixed up. Now we got the tenderloins tenderized and pound out to the size that we want them. Now let's go ahead and break some eggs into one of these pie pans. It depends on how many you're cooking, and you may need a dozen eggs, or you may get by with half a dozen, or maybe just a couple. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break 6 of them just to be on the safe side. So that way I have plenty. I don't have to break any more. All right, let's take those eggs and we'll just set them back there. And then what I want to do is you want to whisk up the eggs and the egg whites, the yolks and stuff until they're evenly incorporated, just like you do with scrambled eggs. Get them nice and evenly mixed. If you have a blender or a little magic bullet, that probably worked the best because it'll definitely get it mixed, or a food processor, but I don't have one out here ready, so this is just as quick for me to do this. All right. I got those, got the eggs mixed well. I'm gonna wipe this off because I'm gonna use this fork again. So you want to use maybe about a cup of pork panko, or depends on what you're going to do. This brand here, I normally get at Walmart. You can get it off of Amazon. You can get it at any grocery store that if it's available there. Or you can just take pork rinds and grind them yourself. I rather just do it this way, buy it, because you don't have to worry about, sometimes you get those hard pieces, so you don't have to worry about them. So this here holds about 4 cups of pork panko. So, excuse me, I'm gonna use about a cup. And then I'm going to use probably about a cup of this heavy cream powder. Now this is optional. You don't have to use it. I like using it because it'll give it that extra, kind of like that gluten feeling, you know, when the flour is getting wet, where it will stick here to the meat. So what it does, it just helps it out just a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix this together really well. Sometimes you're going to end up making a mess, but you just get it mixed pretty well, and then that's it. I think that'll be good enough. All right, I got the skillet and the tallow preheating. I am using beef tallow in a cast iron skillet. You might ask, why couldn't you put this in the air fryer and fry it? We could if you want to. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. But the idea is to mimic the deep fried pork tenderloin sandwich that was originally the standard diet, and that's what I want to mimic here. So I have beef tallow. We're going to do a shallow pan fry, and so what we're going to do is I'm going to put these gloves on because it can get a little messy. We're going to take this first piece, and I think I'm going to put it in the breading first. Kind of get it coated. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the egg wash or the egg still. And we're going to go around, and then we're going back to the breading and the coating, and we're going to coat this really good. Shake it off, and we're going to put it in the skillet. And we're going to shallow pan fry this until each side is done. We're going to put it on this cooling rack. All right, I got the sandwich made. It's complete. I'm looking forward to trying this version of the breaded fried pork tenderloin sandwich, the carnivore version. But first, I wanted to share something. Many of y'all know that the recent event just happened this week with Charlie Kirk, a man that loved God very first, wasn't afraid, boldly proclaimed the gospel throughout the United States at these colleges and universities. He stood up for human rights. He stood up for the right to bear arms. He stood up for everything from against abortion. He was for pro-life, and he loved his family very much. And he loved his country. That's why he did what he did. We don't understand why the evil things happen or why things happen. We don't know why his wife is going to be struggling through this. But I know that she's holding strong to her faith as she goes through this grieving process. We all need to be praying for his family, his wife, and his children, and his family as they go through this time, as they lay his body to rest. We know that Charlie Kirk is in a better place today. He's got his rewards, which is paradise, which is heaven. That's where we need to be. That's where our ultimate goal is. We don't want to go to the other place. We don't want to go to hell. So, as Charlie Kirk loved God, loved his family, and loved his country, we also need to boldly proclaim the gospel. If we're Christians, we need to boldly proclaim it. We do not need to be afraid to share the gospel, because that's what we're called for. And also, as us in the carnivore community, boldly share your journey, your healing journey, why you went carnivore. Because as I'm sharing mine, sharing the recipes, sharing what my ups and downs, my struggles, my successes, is because they're not going to. They want to shut us up. They want to shut the Christians up. That's what they did with Charlie Kirk. They shut him up. But that doesn't mean that we're out here. We need to keep going, because as Jesus said, the world hated him first, and they're going to hate us too. So as I'm going to read this, and this comes from Jesus, I'm going to read from Matthew 22, 37 to 39. And this is what we should do. Starting with verse 37. I am reading from the ESV version. Whatever version you have, go along with it. And he said to him, you shall love your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And the second is like it, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Those, what Jesus said in his own words, love God first, love your neighbor second. That means boldly proclaim the gospel, show God's love first, put his trust in him, show that you trust the gospel, what the gospel did for you, and share. If you're a carnivore, share your journey, because it is very important. Because if we don't, we just sit to the side and people will get sicker and sicker and hurt. I am over 410 days on carnivore. I have no chronic inflammation. I dealt with that for the last 2 years because of the plants I ate, plus the standard diet in the past, plus my poor choices of smoking and chewing tobacco that wrecked my health. And now I am reclaiming my life back, and I feel better today than I did over a year ago. And so I am sharing my journey here as well as everybody else is in the carnivore community. So as that says, let's see what this sandwich is like. It looks pretty good. Now, you don't have to put condiments on here. You can make your own carnivore mayo, or you can make you make whatever. I'm just going to use mustard. You can use Primal Kitchen or Chosen avocado mayo, whatever the condiment you want. But I'm just going to do mustard, and let's see what the sandwich tastes like. Oh, that is way better than the sandwiches I used to have in the past. I know that the pork panko didn't get as crispy as the flour or the breadcrumbs would. I also did a shallow pan fry. If I did a deep fry in a deep fat fryer, it might be a little bit different, but I use beef tallow and it tastes much better. It doesn't taste like diesel fuel or kerosene, or that nasty oil taste. Very good. If you want to make it, I'd highly recommend making it. If you miss this kind of sandwich, make your own bread, whatever carnivore bread you want to make buns, or you can eat it without any kind of carnivore bun or bread. But I do miss the sandwiches. I don't miss what it done to me. And this is awesome. I can actually do that. I can actually eat this. This is my comfort sandwich that I used to go to and have all the time. So now I can eat it, be healthy, and not feel guilty or feel guilty about eating something that I shouldn't. And likewise, let's be kind, be positive, have a good attitude, and encourage and support one another. Y'all have a great day. God bless.